Today, I'm going to talk to you about living with ME mindfully. So I don't want anyone to panic. We're not doing a meditation. We won't be doing breathing exercises. Yes, that is, a lot of people think of mindfulness. It's all about breathing, meditation. That's not really what I'm going to be looking at today. I'm going to be looking at another part of mindfulness and how can we incorporate mindfulness into living with ME. So what does mindfulness mean to you? And as I said already, a lot of you will think, oh, talk about meditation, breathing, doing relaxation, headspace, all of this. Yes, absolutely. But I'm talking about another part of mindfulness. And it's being aware of ourselves, about our condition. What do we notice? And for me, the most important being mindfulness is what are we doing with that information? We have thousands of thoughts that go on in our head. But do we ignore that information? What do we do with that information? And a lot of people who have ME, it's my experience that they're high performers, they're very ambitious, they have worked really, really hard, pushed, and then crashed. And maybe post-viral have never been able to recover because of this push crash. And it's only when we bring mindfulness, and the mindfulness that I'm talking about is that when you're mindful at all levels. From a therapy point of view, we'd say fully functioning is when you're functioning at all levels, mind, body, and soul. And you're processing that information. And what are we doing with that information? You're actually saying, oh, I'm noticing this is what I'm thinking, but I'm noticing this is what I'm feeling. And what am I doing with that information? How many have you over the years have got information that really said, I shouldn't be doing this? But we keep pushing, whether it was in our work or in our personal life, meeting friends, and there's an internal dialogue that's saying, it's too much, I shouldn't be doing it. But I do it anyway. Now, I'm not able for that. I do it anyway. Because there's criticisms or expectations from others, and maybe ourselves. And I do it anyway. So that's the piece that I want to look at with mindfulness. So the question I'm asking you all today is, how mindfully are we of ourselves, of our condition, and what are we doing with this information? Are we living mindless, not aware, any attention, not bothered? Or are we living mindfully aware on a moment-by-moment basis? That's what I want to explore with you today. So I'm going to look at definition of mindfulness. The definition of mindfulness is, mindfulness means maintaining a moment-by-moment awareness of our thoughts and feelings, bodily sensations, and surrounding environments through a gentle, nurturing lens. Mindfulness also involves acceptance. You know me, I'm always on about the acceptance of our condition. Acceptance gives you the freedom to move on, but do we really accept? People say, oh, yeah, I have accepted it. Not always. They may on a head level accept it, and that's the piece I'm looking at. Head level. Are we accepting from a head level? What am I feeling? Do I really feel I'm accepting it? Possibly not. It's about paying attention to our thoughts, feelings without judgment. There's another big piece, the judgment piece. Do we spend a life judging? So mindfulness, the piece I'm talking about today, is monitoring that awareness, monitoring that inner critic, that inner voice, and making a choice or a decision with that insight or that information to help and support us without judgment. There's enough judgments or criticism in the world. So we're talking about our own internal dialogue and what are we doing with that information without judgment. So we're looking at an expectation, and it's kind of come up for me a lot recently with working with ME clients. Do we have an expectation of ourselves, to be better, how we should be in our condition, how we should be doing more, or we should be working, or we should be recovering? How long have we lived a life with the same expectation? And is it working? Does it serve us well? And that's the question that I'm kind of looking at, our expectation. We have an expectation of loved ones, so we keep pushing and we keep crashing because of what others say or what others do. And does that cost us? When I could talk about cost, not financial cost, I'm talking about our physical cost to ourselves and the impact that that can have on ourselves. So I am going to share with you what I call my cost scale, which looks like this. I scale everything. I personally live by this cost scale, 1 to 10. So I live my life wondering, is it a 10? 10 being is too much cost, so I don't do it. 1 being no cost, absolutely. So it's our physical cost of me doing something that's going to impact on my health and well-being. And do I do it or do I not do it? So by having a scale for me is brilliant, because then I can rate it. So if something is going to cost me my health and well-being, and it's up there, so my personal cost scale, I rate it at 8 to 10. So if I'm asked to do anything, 8 to 10, I don't do it. I negotiate. So currently, and this a real example, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. So Declan has, put out that there's people would like to have a consultation with myself. At the moment, I have a lot on preparing for this presentation. I have other presentations later in the week. I have a full caseload. So my cost scale is, when Declan sends me a lovely referral, my cost scale is going, I can't do that at the moment. I'm up there of 8 to 10. So I go straight into negotiation, saying, Dec, this is the way it is. I have a full list at the moment. I'm really busy. So I'm going to negotiate, and I will contact these people and say that I have a list and I'm working towards it, hopefully by March. So there's the negotiation. So in March, I'm hoping to be where there's no cost to me, that I have cleared my backlog, I've got rid of all my presentations, and then I have a waiting list that I can go, right, can I afford to take on clients, extra clients from the ME Trust this week? And my cost scale will be absolutely. So my cost scale, when there's no cost to me, and I can definitely support these clients while looking after myself, would be a 1 to 4. That's where my cost is. So I'm always looking, no cost to me, 1 to 4, I can do anything. I can meet people for coffee, I can take a phone call with a friend, I can go for a walk, no cost. But I'm always on a day-to-day basis in every aspect of my life, managing and negotiating, where's the cost if I do this? So as I say, when I talk about cost, not financial, I'm talking about physical cost. So I could get a call from a girlfriend, do you fancy meeting in the Phoenix Park? We'll do a social distancing walk. I'm straight away negotiating, can I do it? Can I not do it? So if I'm upwards of 8 to 10, I'm going, can't do it, love to meet you, but how about if we meet on Saturday? How about next week? So I'm negotiating. I'm trying to implement that in all aspects, and I use this in every aspect of my life. Doesn't matter. I'm answering a phone call, I might look and say, oh, there's so-and-so, I know I'm going to be on the phone for half an hour. I'm not able for that call. I'll say, not going to do it. And I think a lot of you can maybe relate to even a phone call when you're suffering with ME. I think it's the ability to be able to, who's that? Well, there's Mary. Love to talk to her. She's a great friend. Haven't spoken to her in weeks, but I'm in the middle of a crash. I'm not able to talk to Mary today. And it's that ability to say, I'm going to negotiate that. Either I'm going to answer it and say, Mary, I'm not great. Can I give you a call tomorrow? Can we schedule it for the weekend? Or not answer it and text her to say, I'm not great. I'll call you at the weekend. That's the negotiation. So your cost straight away is saying, for me personally, 8 to 10. For you, it could be different, but I do want you to look at that maybe individually, take an example of something and try and start using this with everything. That could be anything. I want to clean the house. What's the cost if I want to clean the house today? Is it too high? Can I negotiate it? I use it with everything. Answer the phone, going out for meeting people. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm always looking, and I can really feel it. If the cost is too high, my internal barometers go, oh, don't do it. It's too much. If there's no cost to me, absolutely, I'm well rested, I feel great, I'm really minding myself. It's absolutely, so I can navigate my way through life all the time with using the scale. So when we look at the cost and our expectations of others, for me, there's a lot of expectations. Go for a walk, look after yourself, mind yourself, connect with friends. For me, when I have to, must, should, need to, or ought to, they're all pressure words. And a lot of us feel pressured because we have ME, whether at all ages and all walks of life, there's pressure from others to do stuff. The only thing I have pressure, or the only thing I want pressure from in life, is to pay my bills, pay my mortgage, because, you know, I don't want to lose my house, or I don't have my electric cut off. I won't be able to do a Zoom call with you guys, or, you know, the phone cut off. So the only pressure I want on life is just around bills. After that, I replace those pressure words of have to, must, need to, should with I would like to, or I would love to. And if that doesn't fit, so if someone contacts me saying, oh, you know, I want to meet you, and you go, God, I haven't seen them for ages, there's the pressure. Unless I'd say, oh God, I'd love to meet you, or I'd really like to meet you, or I want to meet you, I don't do it. Because we are living with a reality versus the expectation. The reality that you are all living with ME, you're all living with chronic fatigue, all struggling with your health and well-being. And if we live in a world of expectation, we just keep pushing and then we keep crashing. So they say the definition for happiness is expectation divided by reality. And they say, increase your reality of living with ME, and lower your expectation of the have to, the shoulds, the musts. And that's trying to get a balance between, you know, living with ME and pleasing others. And we're really trying to please ourselves. And that's called self-care. That's being mindful. Ability to self-care on the back of this information, this mindfulness that I'm talking about today. And being able to apply that to selves. So we're talking about turning inwards to this in this experience in a moment by moment. It's about practicing this without criticism, without judgment, because we all know there's all this chatter like what goes on in the background. You know, is it negative? Is it judgmental? Is it critical? Here we go again, another crash, another day, another I'm not able to get out of bed. It's about showing ourselves compassion, self-compassion and self-acceptance. Because without that, we'll achieve nothing. There's a part of you that's not well. There's a part of you that has ME or chronic fatigue. And it's that part that are you supporting or are you neglecting? How do you have compassion for that part of you? I think for me, we are so good at offering others support, you know, compassion. You know, be the first to say to others, take your time, relax, there's no rush, there's no pressure. But do we speak to ourselves like that? How do we speak to ourselves? Something, you know, me with language, I'm always talking to people who know me, I'm always talking, what does that actually mean for you? I'm really angry, I hate my ME. Wow, let's explore that. But if we talk to ourselves like that, is that compassionate? To me, it's abuse, it's neglect, it's hurtful, shameful at times, the things people might say to themselves. Without awareness, that's mindless. And mindless talking to myself in a negative way, not even aware of what the impact that dialogue with myself has. But if I'm mindful, then I'm thinking, ooh, that's a bit hurtful, or that's a bit harsh. And that's the bit I'm talking about, that process of fully functioning, that we're aware at all levels what's going on at all times, and what am I doing with this information. So that leads me on to the next piece of what mindfulness, and the piece I want to share with you, is around our head, our heart, and our gut. So it's 3 simple steps of mindfulness that I'm talking about. I'm going to share with you now a little slide here again. And it's the overlap of where they head, heart, and gut. Being mindful at a head level, mindful of what I'm thinking. Being mindful at a heart level, what am I feeling, or what's the emotion? And being mindful at a gut level. Our gut is our intuition, our gut is what keeps us safe. And it's being mindful of our, I have a little red dot there, and that's the overlap of our head, heart, and our gut. And it's our core. They call it our sweet spot. But the sweet spot is our awareness at all levels, at all times, moment by moment, about what's going on. So if we apply this, and this is like my score of 1 to 10, my scale of cost, 1 to 10, this is also going on at all levels, head, heart, and gut. So at a head level, you might say, oh, I want to go for a walk. Think, oh yeah, that'd be a nice idea. There's a head level. Yeah, the advice, I need to get out and I need to get for a walk and get my vitamin D, and that's what I'd like to do. My heart was saying, oh yeah, that'd be really nice. It's a beautiful day. Let's go for a walk. And then we go to our gut, and your gut's saying, really? You want to go for a walk? You know that moment when you go, ooh, your stomach nearly churns at the thought of it. But what do? You go for a walk anyway. Because you ignore your heart or your gut. And you do it anyway. And that's when we push, and ends up with a crash. So by working on a head, heart, and gut level at all times, makes me look at, there's a thought. I'd really like to phone that friend, or I'd really like to go for a walk. Then we check, what is our heart saying? Our heart might be saying, as I said, your heart might be saying, oh yeah, I'd love that. Or your heart might be saying, not sure. Can I negotiate? I'm not sure about that. And then I want to tune into that not sure piece. And then go to the gut. And it's the gut saying, yeah, I agree, I'm not sure about this. So it's navigating ourselves through our awareness of our sweet spot to say, how am I what we call fully functioning on a head, heart, and gut level to support me on a daily, moment by moment basis? And what am I doing with this information? And that's the information for me that's so important. It could be anything. I want to change my bed sheets. I want to tidy a room. It doesn't matter what it is. I use the same principle, head, heart, and gut at all times. And it's trying to navigate between, your head, heart, and gut might be all aligned, saying, absolutely not. I'm not going for that walk today. It's really good. But for me, with ME clients, a lot of them are in their head and ignoring their heart or their gut. They might get that feeling, oh God, I really don't want to do this. And then we go into well, I have to meet this person. Sure, I haven't seen them for weeks, that expectation that we put on ourselves again, without being aware of the reality is, this is too much for me. Or how many times we sat on a phone call in our head going, oh, would they ever give over? When can I say enough? And your heart and your gut is screaming, end the call, end the call. But you stay on the call because we should. We have to. We haven't spoken to them in ages. It would seem rude. I've put them off 3 or 4 times. And it's been able to navigate to say, I'm going to, at the beginning of the conversations to say, I'm only going to chat for about 30 minutes. Get yourself a timer. Set your alarm for 30 minutes and say, when it goes off, say, look, really appreciate the call. I'm just going to end it now. So you've set it up from the beginning. You decided to take the call, maybe out of 6 or 7 on your scale of your cost scale of your health and well-being, and you're going to say, yeah, I'm a 6 or 7 today. I'll take a call, but I'm going to negotiate at the beginning to say, I'm just going to chat for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to end. And as the 30 minutes comes, even if you feel, yeah, this is grand, can I renegotiate, or am I pushing again? And that's the bit we're always looking at. So we are talking about the practice of becoming self-aware of our mind, our body, our thoughts, and the inner conflict. And what are we doing with this information? Becoming our best friend. As I said before, we're really good at supporting others, but being our best friend is looking within and treating ourselves well, having compassion for ourselves, speaking to ourselves like we would speak to others, without judgment, without criticism. I've often worked with clients and I think we talked about this the last time, can you name that part of yourself that's not well? Can you speak to them and say, hey, buddy, you know, you're not well today. What can I do to help you? What would that head, heart, and gut say? Can I support you from a gut instinct of, you just need to rest or self-care today? You don't need to meet the friend, or you don't need to justify that you're not well today. Because I think a lot of us spend a lot of time justifying to others. Oh, I can't do this because I'd love to meet you because. And then that takes up the energy that we don't have. And sometimes it's being able to say, can't do that. Can I meet next week? Without justification. And being able to walk away going, well done you. You know, well done for being able to say, can't do it today, but how about next week? That's what self-compassion and self-care looks like. It's about looking within and not looking, well, what will he think? Or what will she think? What will they think if I don't do this? If I'm not available to them at all times? Are they really friends? So it's our ability, the ability of awareness and choice. So we're really talking about the choice we make on the back of this awareness to help ourselves to listen to this internal voice on our heart, head, and gut level, to find balance, which is supportive and compassionate. And it's all about practice, practice, practice. There is a saying, and I don't know who it's by, but it says, excellent is not an act. No, that's wrong. Excellent is not a habit, but an act that we practice every day. And that is something, that's what we're talking about with anything that we do. And as I said at the beginning, does some of our habits serve us well? Do we continue to do them? Does it serve us well? Why do we do it? You know, the question, why do I continue to do this when I know it's not particularly good? Why do I push through? Because I'm having a good day. That's mindless. That's reckless. That's neglect. Being mindful is having compassion for ourselves. And that can be incorporating a meditation or a breathing exercise. But I'm really talking about this as an added tool of noticing all parts of me at all time, every day. And the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. It's like anything. You know, how many of us drive cars, get into it, drive, and don't even think about it? Many of us now that we're all used to Zoom, click on the link, open it, commute, unmute, because we practice it every week. We've never been so good with technology, but do you remember a year ago when they talked about a Zoom meet and everyone was like, what? I don't know how to use the computer. We've all been there. But a year later, this is our norm. We're reaching out to more people than we ever did because we practice it. That's what I'm talking about being mindful. Trying to achieve a work or a life balance. When we stop and choose not to focus just on the one thing, I feel really ill today. It's about not just focusing on how you're feeling today, but maybe looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture, and become more mindful of all that is around us by switching our focus and changing our thoughts by noticing, thinking, and feeling in this moment and making a decision or a choice of doing something different. To pause, to breathe, to ground ourselves, to be mindful of all parts of us. To self-care, to show self-compassion. And to use these strategies on a daily basis. We talk about the practice of 21 days. I need to practice this habit, whether it's head, heart, gut, whether it's my cost scale, every day for 21 days. For it to become automatic. And it's only when we become automatic that it doesn't take much effort. That it just flows naturally, organically for you, that if no matter what you're asked to do or what phone call or what is expected of you, that you're looking at a head, heart and gut level, or you're looking at your cost scale. And the more you practice it, for me, my own personal gut, it's like an alarm going off. It's like, no, don't do that, Louise. I'm so in tune with it that it keeps me safe. And that's what your gut is for, is to keep you safe at all times. And it's up to us to keep us safe. You know, we can look at the world, look at doctors, you know, if only they had a cure, you know, for ME, if only we could take a pill. But sometimes the key for what we can do is within us, and it's not externally. There's only so much they can do externally. We're looking at then, what can I do? What can I take responsibility or control of? What is the decision I can make today that's helping me? Because for me, we are mindless in our decisions predominantly on a daily basis. We're just doing without really stopping and thinking and pausing of the impact this is having on me, or potentially could have on me if I keep pushing. So to recap, mindfulness is about a moment-by-moment awareness of our internal and external. It's about monitoring our thoughts and feelings on a head, heart, and gut level by processing this information and making choices and decisions based on this awareness, which is supportive of ourselves. And this, for me, is called self-care.